Hey, how are you guys doing? My name is Aiden, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how you guys can use a tool called TopicMojo to find, trending ideas, topics, questions, and just a whole bunch of tools and ideas for you to, kind of market and promote your business to your audience and your niche. So let me go ahead and show you guys a couple of its features. So for example, the topic model here, pretty much what it does is you go ahead and search a query, right? And it'll find a bunch of related keywords and a bunch of related, articles, questions, posts, buyer intent keywords and all that stuff related to the keyword that you enter in. So the keyword I enter in is B2B marketing agency because that's the niche that I serve in, right? So pretty much what it does is it'll go ahead and pull up just a whole bunch of articles, posts on pretty much like every single different kind of social media network, e-commerce data. So it'll pull up, in this case, it'll pull up a bunch of ebooks on Amazon. Pulls up a bunch of Shopify websites related to this. Pulls up a bunch of eBay listings probably related to ebooks. Yep, books, and then Etsy listings, right? So it just pulls up a whole bunch of different ideas. So you could use this not only for e-commerce, you could use this for your agency, you could use this for SEO, just blogging, whatever it is. It will just pull up a bunch of ideas for you in your niche, right? So let's start with the keyword data, right? So this one's probably the most useful for if you're running like ads, or if you're running Google ads, or if you're trying to find just rank your videos or whatever you're doing, right? So it'll pull up a bunch of queries of what people are searching for that are questions, right? And it'll give you a positive or negative sentiment, right? So an example of a negative sentiment would be what B2B means, right? So this would be someone who doesn't really have buyer intent, right? So when someone doesn't have buyer intent, they probably are too general of an audience for you to be targeting, right? So what B2B means, someone who doesn't know what B2B means probably like isn't in a B2B marketing space. It's probably some college kid who's trying to learn like, oh, what's the definition of B2B, right? But what's B2B marketing? It's a little bit more targeted because it tells you that somebody is trying to market their B2B business, right? Or what B2B buyers really care about. It clearly shows intent. Like this guy's trying to figure out, how do I market my B2B business, right? So and then just a couple other keywords, how to build a B2B marketing strategy. So this would apply great to me, right? So when I know that people are searching how to build a B2B marketing strategy, I'm going to create content around this, right? Or I'm going to provide a solution maybe one of the services I would sell, or it is a service that I sell, is building out a B2B marketing strategy by using outbound outreach, right? By the way, for those of you guys who don't know, my name is Aiden. I'm the founder of Expansively, and what we do is we build out systems for outbound prospecting for agency owners who are B2B consultancies and coaches, so that they could book 100 sales appointments on the calendar in the next 60 days, right? So that's what we do. If you guys are interested in doing that, go ahead and book a call down below. It's not going to be no pushy sales call. All we're going to do is just figure out what problems your business is facing with outbound outreach, and figure out how we could potentially solve them, right? So getting back to TopicMojo. So as you can see, you could find a bunch of queries of high buyer intent keywords. You could use this for things like like I said, B2B agency, meaning that would be a negative intent keyword. So negative intent keywords, these would be on sorry, my bad, Google ads, Bing ads, Facebook ads to an extent, I guess. These would be words that like you don't want to be targeting, right? So on Google ads, you could go ahead and add negative keywords to your planner, right? Of people who are searching these keywords, you don't want to target them with your ads, right? Because they have no buyer intent and they're not going to convert. So if they just click on your ads, they're wasting your cost per click spending, right? So B2B agency, meaning someone who's searching this, they're like a kid who just doesn't know what B2B agency is, so they're not going to buy none of your products or pay you any money. So don't target them with your ads. Clearly they have negative sentiment. So you just kind of go through here. Which agency should I pick 2022? So this could be somebody who has intent. Which agency should I sign with? This could be someone who has intent regarding B2B, but it could also be someone who's like an influencer or a model or something who has nothing to do with what you were trying to sell, right? So this is just a great tool to tell you a bunch of different keywords you could target. It gives you a whole bunch of just related keywords as well as PayPal B2B payments. So this is for if you're trying to like rank your blog for SEO, or if you're trying to just grow a brand. You could just talk about different things based off this. And then if you're really trying to like grow your social media, right? Oh, here's a tree, right? So it gives you a whole bunch of different keywords based on different sentiments, right? So otherwise, B2B, like B2B marketing agency, it gives you like a couple different keywords regarding this. Yeah, it just gives you different sentiments of keywords, and it gives you like like why should, why can, why or not, who are B2B buyers. So it gives you different keywords falling into different categories, right? So it's super useful. Comparison keywords, shopping keywords, research keywords. So research keywords, this is if you have an informational blog, right? You're trying to grow a blog. Obviously shopping keywords if you're selling digital products or physical products for e-commerce. And then comparison is if you're trying to compare your product to something else. And then questions, obviously you want to answer buyers' questions or your niche market's questions, right? So yeah, that's the queries, the groupings. It'll also group the queries for you, right? So it'll give you a bunch of different keywords that fall under B2B marketing agency, and give you other keywords that fall underneath that category, right? So give questions, comparison keywords. So it just charts it differently for you under here. And then it could also give you search engine ranking pages. But this is just pretty much Google. You could just go ahead and pull this off Google. Give you Google Trends, right? Give you search volume, right? So you kind of have an idea of how many people are actually searching for the keyword. And then this is probably the most useful one. It'll pull social data, and it'll go ahead and pull literally just idea of posts from every single social media, right? Like Odin, B2B marketing agency, right? So it'll pull up companies. So you could use this to model a company. The Bachelor, it'll pull up profiles related to this, or pull up posts. I don't know why this. Yeah, I guess this is a B2B marketing agency. Yeah, a multi-view B2B marketing agency. So as you can see, it'll pull up a bunch of posts and accounts from a bunch of different keywords that you input on Twitter. As you can see here, filming today for a client. So this is probably a B2B photography agency. Move B2B, right? So now you have a bunch of ideas of B2B posts that you could use for your B2B marketing strategy, or just your own content marketing strategy for your personal brand, however it is, right? Whatever niche you're serving. Pinterest, you can see you get Pinterest ideas, right? Post ideas. Reddit, you can get Reddit, you get Tumblr, and people aren't really using Tumblr, or people are using Tumblr again now, right? People didn't really use Tumblr before. On Reddit, you could find a bunch of posts or a bunch of subreddits, and you get a whole bunch of ideas of just different posts you could use, and you could take inspiration from any of these, right? Now I don't think it ranks the content that great in terms of how much engagement it actually got, but it gives you ideas, right? It's a quick search query, right? And on e-commerce data, it also tells you different products that people are selling related to your keyword, right? So for B2B, let's say you're trying to sell an ebook, or you're trying to come up with keyword ebooks to sell, right? You could go ahead and click and look at different ebooks that other people are selling, right? So B2B marketing confessions, right? That's an ebook that's selling. You can look at eBay, right? What are people selling on eBay, right? So you take a look here. So it's just a really useful tool here that you could use to find out what other people are selling, what other people are posting, what questions your buyers are asking for, what people in your audience want to know, and based off the information that you have here, you could create posts that people will actually want to engage with, right? Or that is super valuable to your audience, right? So these are different things that people are selling on eBay related to B2B. So these are mostly books, because B2B you can't really sell like an actual physical product. But yeah, some of the data is probably a little bit outdated, right? But yeah, like these are just different products that people are selling. And yeah, if you have good keyword research, or if you just use the keywords that they give you, right, you can find a lot of niche targeted products, right, for your whatever market you're trying to serve, right? So me doing B2B marketing, it's kind of like a little bit different. Like I can't really find any products to sell, and but you just find ideas, you sift through the ideas, and you don't really have to come up with your own content ideas, right? Like if I want to come up with a blog or post a blog, boom, I go on Influencer Marketing Hub, which is actually a website that I visit a lot. And now I have an article, or not an article because I can't just copy it, but now I have an idea for an article that I could go ahead and plug in and make content with. So yeah, that's how you use that's how you use the topic model. There's the questions part, which just pretty much just finds the most asked questions on the internet. B2B leads, so let's say that, and I'll go ahead and let it load real quick. And then it will go ahead and do a search report on that, and then on trending, it will just go ahead and pull up a whole bunch of different trending, topics, right? Kemba Walker's trending, right? Because obviously he just got signed by the Mavs. Ja Morant, everyone knows who, the Panthers, Messi's wife. Messi just won the World Cup, So now you have a bunch of, just general trending articles. So this is probably good for like YouTube automation. This probably isn't all that great for too many different types of things. Unless you're like targeting, different countries that have like world events, then this might be super good, right? Because like let's pull up Ukraine, right? Pull up Ukraine. Let's say you're doing a YouTube automation channel, or you're just gonna pull up. Oh, okay, it's all in Ukrainian. Okay, I can't even read that. But yeah, you get the point, right? You could you could pull up topics from different countries, and then there's a search listener which I don't have access to right now, but pretty much it would just like track keywords, and then it's just a more advanced keyword tracking tool, right? So I'll go ahead and show you guys how does the search listener work. As you can see here, it would just go ahead and find you a bunch of different keywords, show you the trending, and then this is really great for finding low cost PPC keywords to target, right? Or just low competition keywords in general for your business to target. So if you go to questions now, hopefully loaded in by now. Yep, loaded in. So B2B leads. Go ahead and load up a bunch of questions that buyers have. So I could use all of these questions that are going to load up to base my content off around of, right? So you've got core questions, you got Reddit questions, and then you just have a bunch of keywords. Where can I get free B2B leads? I probably wouldn't want to target this keyword because like why? If someone's trying to get free B2B leads, they probably don't have money, right? But yeah, you just get where can I find B2B prospects? Where can I find B2B leads online? And then you find the trendingness, right, of it, similarity, search volume, right? All these are low volume search words, but like they're high intense search words, right? So even if 3-4 people click on or search it per month, if you get a bunch of if you get ranked for a bunch of these different keywords, it slowly adds up over time, right? Like one person from each of these keywords, then that's 20 different hot inbound leads you got to your website. And if you have like a tool set up to track inbound B2B leads, you could obviously go ahead and retarget them and do things like that. So if you want to go ahead and grab this tool right now on AppSumo, you can go ahead and get a lifetime deal on it. So if you guys don't know what AppSumo is, it's a software marketplace for startups who are trying to raise money, and by offering a deal for people to get a great deal on their software. So the software ends in like a day. So if you're trying to get it now. It does require AppSumo Plus, but for $160, right, which is a super killer deal. For lifetime access, you get 500 search queries a month. The outline, you get 50 queries a month. You just get like 500 queries a month. Like you're not doing more than 20 queries a day realistically, right? So it's kind of overkill. You're getting more than enough in terms of if you're just running like a normal business, right? And then if you aren't able to get in on a deal, right, here's the normal cost of the program. It's pretty cheap, right? So for the normal plan, it's only 50 queries a month, so that's why I said like $169. You're getting an incredible deal, which is like the cost of about a year, right, or a year and a half. You get 10 times the amount of queries, right? But for just $10 a month, you get access to the topic model, the questions finder, and the outline. But the only problem is you don't get access to the search listening, which is required for the pro. You have to have the pro plan for it, right? But like I said, if you get in on the AppSumo deal, you get 50 queries a month, and it's only $59 plus $99 for AppSumo Plus. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video on how to use TopicMojo to go ahead and find topics for your business and grow your business on social media. If you're, like I said, interested in lead generation for your B2B agency, consultancy, or your B2B coaching business, then go ahead and click the link down below and book a call, and we'll go over what problems are you experiencing with your business and come up with a plan for you to book 100 appointments in the next 60 days. So yeah, book a call down below if you're interested in that, and leave a like and a follow, and join my Facebook group down below for even more value that I'm going to be sharing on there. And yeah, until next time, peace out, guys.